name's Beck, and in this video, I'm going to provide an overview of our flow profiler development reports. I'll begin with our full version first and then follow right behind with a sample of our classic version. I'll also be using our full flow profiler assessment, but the reports are laid out exactly the same for those using the factor-specific assessments of motivation flow, resilience flow, and EQ flow. So we begin with our title page, and straight in that way, I know I am working with the full development report because that is mentioned in the title. And that's the fastest way to tell the difference between the full version and the classic version. Right behind this, we'll sit our Spirit of Flow Profiler page, and this really speaks to our brand story and our aspirations for this family of assessments. From here, we move to our contents page, and the eagle-eyed amongst you will recognize that this is a rather large report. In fact, it's 50 pages in length. Now, that represents a tremendous amount of value, but it is something to bear in mind before you use up all your printer ink. Now, from here, we then have our measures of test approach, and our measures of test approach are giving insight into how the individual's gone about completing the assessment. From here, we move to what we call our model page, and our model page is very much designed to communicate what it is that we're measuring. So here it will speak to the fact that we're measuring the 4 factors, 4 areas of emotional and social intelligence, resilience, and motivation, and that we're doing that across the 2 states of day-to-day and under pressure. It will also speak to the idea that we have got dimensions, observable behaviours that make up each of those areas, and that they are likely to change over time. So as a result, these results or this particular report's valid for 12 to 18 months. It will also state that we treat everything we measure in Flow Profiler as a skill, ability, or intelligence that can be developed. So having communicated what we are measuring, let me share with you how we go about communicating, how we measure it. Well, this is what we call our STEN score page, and it takes the reader on the journey of inputting their responses on a 7-point scale to our algorithm converting that 7-point scale to something called a STEN score. Now, a STEN score is a term used in statistics, and it means standard to 10. But what that allows us to do is to create our standard distribution curve or our bell curve. And this page will then speak to what each of our results will mean on our flow profiler scale. From here, we are then into the individual's results themselves, and we begin with our charts. So we have 2 charts here, our day-to-day results on top and our under pressure results right underneath. And I guess the charts offer a lovely visual representation of where a person is adapting their behaviors between the 2 states. From here, we will then go for a factor-specific approach with these 4 reports. So we begin with our EQ, our emotional and social intelligences. We start with a page of 2 tables. The first table has our definitions on it, and the second table has what we call the raw data, the raw results. So this represents all the results for this factor for this individual. We have the day-to-day on top and the under pressure right underneath. The report will then report on each dimension in turn, and there'll be a page per state. So we'll start here with self-confidence, for example, and we are reporting on the day-to-day results. And we know this because our index tab at the top of the page, which is designed to help us navigate our way through the report, tells us that is the case. Right behind this, the under pressure results will appear. And again, the index tab will indicate that. The report will go on to report on each of the dimensions where you see a change in the factor. So in this case, the motivation results, you'll have another table of definitions and the results sat right underneath. Again, the pattern is repeated. Day-to-day results first, under pressure results right behind. And that continues all the way through the resilience results as well. The report then finishes off on our action planning page and an opportunity with a table here for some self-directed learning questions. So that is our full report. Let me just explain how that is different to our classic reports. Well, our classic reports look the same on face value. We have a cover page and we have our Spirit of Flow Profiler page. We have our contents page, but you may already be observing that this report is half the size of the full one. And the reason for that is because it is reporting on the highest and lowest scoring dimension for each factor being measured across each state. So just the highlights, really. We then move into our measures of test approach. Again, we then go from here to our models page, communicating what it is we're measuring, and our STEM score page, communicating how we go about measuring what we do. The report then takes a two-part approach, and those parts are broken into the states. So we do all the day-to-day results first, and then part two, we cover all the under pressure results. So here we have got the chart for the day-to-day results and some lovely insights into the likely observable behaviours. We are reporting on the top scoring dimension first for each of the factors, and then the lowest scoring dimension for each of the factors. We move to part two, which is our under pressure results, and that pattern is repeated. So we start with a chart and some lovely insights into the likely observable behaviour. We report on the highest scoring dimension for each of the factors and the lowest scoring dimension for each of the factors. Once again, the report will finish off with an action planning page. And this time, in this case, in this instance, in fact, the appendix is where you'll find a copy of the definitions and the raw results. And that is true for each of the factors. So we have EQ, we have motivation, and we have resilience. I hope you have found that overview useful and helps you perhaps articulate the difference between the full and the classic reports. I look forward to seeing you again soon. For now, do take care.